Let's see. Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you can hear me on the video. Okay, perfect. All right, so this is the official ratings update for 2K23. It's the third ratings update. Today is December the 1st, 2022. Not sure what was going on with my mic there. It looks like I guess the cord wasn't plugged all the way into the back and synced up or something. So sorry about that, guys, for the beginning. You didn't miss anything. I was just going through the date and the roster update. So we got official changes today. Always start with the 76ers. Biggest mover for the 76ers, +6. Shake Milton goes all the way up to a 79 overall. This is crazy. I mean, I get that he's been averaging like 22 points a game over the last 6 games, but that's a big jump for Shake Milton. When you've got other things that needed to be addressed on the roster, I get it. I personally think 79 overall is a little much for him. I would have went around 76 overall, somewhere in there. But, hey, it's not me doing the updates. D'Anthony Melton goes +1, 79 overall. They also gave a big jump to Paul Reed, +3 to a 76 overall. And then finally, +1 for Georges Niang to a 76 overall. They curiously did not touch Saben Lee. He is on a 2-way contract. I would have personally knocked him down to be more in line with, Jaden Springer, things like that. So, it is what it is, but, that's what it is for this update. Oh, I also would have changed Maxey and Harden since they're both out. You could have changed their positions back to point guard, shooting guard, flip-flop them basically. Milwaukee Bucks, Brook Lopez gets an update, +1 to an 82 overall. Position change for Bobby Portis Jr. back to center. He did not get an overall change. +2 for Grayson Allen to a 78 overall. Javon Carter gets a +1 to 76 overall. They knocked Serge Ibaka down 1 to a 74 overall. Position change for Jordan Nwora to power forward as well. He's been kind of playing a combo forward role there, so that's why they changed them. Zach LaVine for the Chicago Bulls goes down to -2 to an 85 overall. He's declining pretty heavily. I have noticed 2K kind of, I don't want to say favors players because I don't think that's fair, but they look at certain players versus others. I guess you could say that is favoring. But they look at certain players to drop their overalls, and they look at certain players to up their overalls. Klay Thompson being one that anytime Klay Thompson does anything, he's going up. Versus if he's playing bad, even if he played bad all at the beginning of the season, he didn't go down. So it's just interesting who they touch on and who they don't. But Zach LaVine goes -2 there. We got a position change for Derrick Jones Jr. He goes to small forward. There, no rating change for him along the way. Ayo Dosunmu goes -1 to a 75 overall. Yeah, I guess that's a better way to put it, Aramis. They get updated a lot faster versus others. I guess that's a better way of putting it. Don't know necessarily about this one, but Donovan Mitchell goes -1 to a 90 overall. His numbers have been down in the last few games, but he's still averaging like 26 a game. So if you're going to do something, Darius Garland should have went up one because he's averaging like 25 a game over the last few games. They still don't have an injury designation for Kevin Love, even though Love's missed 5 games in a row. They did drop Caris LeVert -1 to a 77 overall, and that's all the changes for Cleveland. Boston Celtics, finally, Jaylen Brown hits the 90 overall club. He goes +2. Well-deserved for him. He's been playing really well this year. They did go +1 for Malcolm Brogdon to an 83 overall. My thought process always is if you're going to go put a player that's coming off the bench as like a 6-man and he's higher than your starter at the position, I would have moved Brogdon back to shooting guard personally. and then you could have ran Derrick White essentially as a point guard just to distinguish the overall, so that way when you started my career, Malcolm Brogdon's not starting over Marcus Smart, which will now happen because of the overall difference here. They don't have because it was announced later than the update was posted. Al Horford does get the contract extension, 2-year extension, but it's not here. Hopefully that'll get updated in the next few days. Luke Kornet goes +1 to a 75 overall. I did miss Derrick White. He is a +2 to a 79 overall. Sam Hauser, curiously, if anybody was paying attention, they posted the changes last week, and he was supposed to be a 75 overall. He's still sitting at a 72 overall. That lets me know that the notes were a typo, and that there was not supposed to be a change to him. We've got the LA Clippers. Kawhi Leonard goes down -4 to a 91 overall. Definitely not playing up to par. He's been injured, slow to come back from injuries as well. So that's why the change there. Ivica Zubac, I thought would get a better update than this. Only goes +1. I thought he'd at least get to 79 overall, just because he's been really rebounding the ball well. Obviously had the 31 and 29, but his rebounding numbers have been really solid. I thought he deserved to go to a 79. Norman Powell goes up 2. They dropped him 2 last update, so they added the 2 back this update to a 78. Reggie Jackson goes +1 to a 76. We get a position update for Amir Coffey. No rating change, but his position did get updated to small forward. And so that's there because he's been kind of the spot starter for Paul George while he's out. But I personally, with the position updates, I would have moved Kawhi Leonard to shooting guard and then have Paul George as a small forward, just because it seems like Kawhi's out a ton. I don't even know why they took the injury off of Kawhi here. Paul George doesn't have his injury. They're not very good with injuries this year, I'll be honest. Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It takes a while to get the injuries added, and then they remove the injuries quicker than they should for some players. Like, Luke Kennard should be a shooting guard. I would move Kawhi to shooting guard to put Paul George at small forward. But, that's just me. It is what it is. But going over to, and that's all the changes for LA. Going over to Memphis, big update to Jaren Jackson Jr. goes +3 to an 86 overall. I think that's a little high for him, but they also overdid Desmond Bane as well, so it doesn't shock me that they upgraded Jaren Jackson so high. John Conchar gets a +1 to a 77 overall. No update for Tyus Jones. I get he's coming off the bench, but I would have at least increased him +1, if not +2, because he's been really solid off the bench. And I would have upped Brandon Clark +1 because Santi Aldama, they're kind of playing the same, if you ask me. Nothing for David Roddy. I was surprised to see he didn't get an update +1 at least. He's been playing really good off the bench for Memphis. Not showing up necessarily in the stat sheet, so that's why maybe you're not seeing an update. But either way, Atlanta Hawks. Kind of surprised on this one. Dejounte Murray goes down 1. And then no update for Clint Capella. I thought Capella could go up 1. I would have left Murray as is. I would have upped Trae Young +1 to a 90 overall. But no updates there. They did obviously drop Murray -1 with nothing for Trae Young. I don't get it. But they love to update Onyeka Okongwu. He goes +1 to a 78. Nothing for DeAndre Hunter again. I don't get it. Like, don't even give him like 2 or 3 defensive badges to help him out. I would have had him at a 78 personally. But AJ Griffin goes up. He goes +2 to a 76, but nothing for DeAndre Hunter. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Frank Kaminsky should have got a drop. He's been playing terrible. especially defensively. He's not good. +2 for Jalen Johnson. He's kind of come back to life the last few games because I don't get it. Nothing for Justin Holiday in the sense that he is, I'm going to show you guys, he is, speed with ball is a 50. I don't get it. Speed with ball is a 50. Also, his speed is a 53. I don't know what 2K is doing. This has been like this since last year. I brought it to their attention every single month, and they have not updated it at all. I don't get it. I don't know what we have to do at this point. It's along the lines of Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes will have to average 30 for 2K to notice. I don't get it. We'll get to Killian Hayes more when we get to Detroit. But going over to Miami, Bam Adebayo gets a +187 overall. Tyler Hero goes down 1 to an 83 overall. Tyler Hero's, to me, is a glorified six-man that they're forcing to start because, basically they paid him. So, we'll see. I thought Kyle Lowry deserved to go up 1 because he's been playing well lately. Dwayne Dedmon's another one that 2K loves to update heavily no matter what. If he has a bad couple games, he doesn't go down. If he has a great couple games, he surely goes up. Playing well off the bench, he goes +2 to a 77. Caleb Martin only goes +1 to a 75. He's been playing really well. He's actually been playing more small forward than he has power forward. I thought he should go up to the 77, and Dwayne Dedmon could have stayed where he was. Phelan, what's up, man? Nikola Jovic. I always say Jokic when I mean to say Jovic. Jovic goes +2 to a 73 overall. He's been playing well in spots, so yeah, I don't mind the 73 overall. Charlotte Hornets. A lot of people wouldn't notice, but Gordon Hayward, because of the injury designation, he goes down 2. Has not been playing well. He goes to a 78 overall, so -2 for him. We get nothing for Teo Maledon, despite him playing well over the last few games. Dennis Smith has struggled the last few games. I thought he'd go down. Nothing for him. Jalen McDaniels gets a position change. He is now a small forward here. Nothing for PJ Washington. I thought he's been playing well. I thought he could go up. Kelly Oubre Jr. does go up. No, he went up in the last update. No rating change, but a position change to shooting guard small forward for him. Nothing for Terry Rozier. Sometimes I just don't know with these roster updates. Like, players could play really well. I get Charlotte's been struggling, but it's just not happening. Razor, what's up, man? No, nothing for, better than that. Nothing for the retro stuff at all. I already looked. Yeah, I don't know when the hell they're gonna ever update that, if it's gonna get updated at this point. No. So anybody wondering what Razor's asking? No face update for Terry Mills. No face update for Winston Garland. No face update for Tracy Murray that were in the last patch. No additions of Ron Artest, Ruben Patterson, or no update to add Kenny Thomas in the roster as well. Fixes like John Long's face on the 88-89 Pistons isn't happening. Hasn't happened yet. No update to the face for Darrell Walker in the My NBA Eras, despite having his face on the 92-93 Bulls. Correct. Same with Gary Grant, the 91-92 Clippers. He doesn't have his updated face either. No clue when these are going to happen. They're all different devs working on these. So who knows? Utah Jazz. We get an update to Kelly Olynyk +1. We also get curiously, we get an update for Malik Beasley +1, but Taylor Horton Tucker's struggling since playing well early. I thought he could go down as well, but nothing for him. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been playing well lately. I thought he can go up +1, but nothing updated for him either. Pretty thin for the Jazz update-wise. the Sacramento Kings, we get an update for Domantas Sabonis, +1. Well deserved there because Sabonis has been playing a lot better lately. More so passing the ball, rebounding, things like that, than anything else. So him and Fox have been doing really well. Harrison Barnes goes +1 to a 79 overall. I thought De'Aaron Fox could have went up one to be right there at 88, but I guess they decided not to. Sacramento Kings also updated Malik Monk +1 to a 79. And then lastly, Chimezie Metu gets position change to center. No rating change to him. Looking at the team overall, I thought that Keegan Murray maybe can go down one. Davion Mitchell up one. They could have flip-flopped, but they decided not to change them. New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson continues to go up, 86 overall for him, +1. No change for R.J. Barrett. He's been shooting the ball awful from 3 this season. I thought for sure he can go down. Of course, they didn't change his rating from 3. I thought Julius Randle could go up 1. He's been playing really well lately. No change for him. I thought he can go to an 84 at least. I thought that we would see Cam Reddish get a position change. They didn't, but they did update R.J. Barrett's contract here. I wanted to make note of that as well. I'll have to go over to Operation Sports to throw that in there. I just saw that one. So Emmanuel Quickley goes +1 to a 78. He's been playing well. -2 to a 78 for Obi Toppin. He's been struggling lately. Like I mentioned, I thought Cam Reddish would have got a position change, maybe even go up 1. Quentin Grimes does get a position change. He goes +1 along with the position change to shooting guard. Now they definitely have way too many shooting guards. I would have personally moved Jeffries and Reddish to small forward, and then that would have alleviated the amount of shooting guards on the team. But that's just me. Also, if anybody didn't notice, Daquan Jeffries was added to the roster. Fair and Hunt waived. Let me go back to the switch to overall. Anthony Davis goes +2 to a 93 overall. Well deserved. He's been their entire team basically. They're running the offense through him. We get a -1 for Patrick Beverly. We get a +1 for Thomas Bryant to a 77. Beverly got -1 to a 76. Austin Reeves goes +2 to a 76 as well. Really playing well over the last little stretch. Another player I don't know what he has to do is Troy Brown Jr. I would have thought he would have got an update at least to a 74 because he's been playing pretty well in spot starts when he does start. But I don't know at this point what he has to do to get an update. We got the Orlando Magic. Bol Bol goes +1. Injury designations for Cole Anthony and Markelle Fultz were lifted, so they obviously don't get a rating change because they haven't played in a while. Gary Harris does get a +3 to a 77 overall. He's been playing well as the starting shooting guard lately. No injury designation for Jalen Suggs, who's been out a while. They did take the injury off of Mo Wagner. Position change for Terrence Ross. He goes to shooting guard small forward. No rating update. Same for Chuma Okeke. He actually does get a rating change, -1 to a 74, along with the position update to small forward. This one bothers me. The Dallas Mavericks. So they've been really, really struggling lately. Tim Hardaway Jr. goes -1 to a 75, but you don't touch JaVale McGee, who struggled all year. You're not touching Spencer Dinwiddie, who has struggled a little bit. Nothing for Reggie Bullock, who's been awful. I'm not sure about the badges. I'll have to go through Levi and see how many badges they've updated for each player. Usually, the Real 2K Insider handles the badge stuff. He'll go through and dive in pretty deep to see who changed. I can certainly do that later and update the Operation Sports post. But off the top of my head, I don't know badge count wise who was updated. Usually, like massive big movers, plus threes, plus fours, you'll see badge changes there to help boost them. But yeah, the Dallas Mavericks definitely needed some more changes than that. Kemba Walker is not a 76 overall anymore. But since he didn't play, I don't really expect them to make a ton of changes. Brooklyn Nets position change for Kyrie Irving. No rating change. He goes back to shooting guard since Ben Simmons is now still the point guard. He goes +1 to a 79 overall. Ben Simmons does. Injury designation for TJ Warren was lifted. Nothing for Seth Curry despite playing really well over the last 7 or 8 games. I didn't expect Kevin Durant to go up because then he'd be tied for the best player as a 97, so that's why he stayed as a 96. Cam Thomas goes -1 to a 75. Yuta Watanabe goes +1 to a 75. No update for Royce O'Neal despite being the team's best versatile defender. Joe Harris goes -1, also gets a position change to small forward. Edmond Sumner gets a position change to point guard. He goes -2 to a 74. Markieff Morris gets a position change to center. No change for his rating. David Duke Jr. also gets a position change to shooting guard. No update to his rating either. The Denver Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. goes -1 to an 81. +1 for Aaron Gordon to an 81. Bones Hyland gets a +2 to a 79. Bruce Brown gets a +2 to a 78. -2 for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to a 76. They had added 2 to his update last week or 2 weeks ago, so they just took that off of there. Christian Brown gets a position update to back to shooting guard, small forward since he was there previously. Just looking at my notes, it closed off of it. Let's see. Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton goes +1 to an 88 overall. My thing is, if you're going to put Halliburton at 88, you should have Darius Garland around in the same tier. I mean, I get that Halliburton's been playing really well, but 88 is like all-star caliber. Maybe they think that he'll definitely be an all-star. Who knows? Curious update here. Buddy Hield gets shifted to shooting guard, which is fine if you want to make that update, but he goes down -2. I don't get that one. He's been consistent throughout. I don't know. But Ben Mathurin, of course, is at small forward, so they did update the position for Aaron Nesmith to small forward, so it's him and Nesmith as the small forwards. We'll see what Chris Duarte does when he comes back if he doesn't start at small forward there. +2 for TJ McConnell to a 76 overall. Andrew Nembhard, who has been starting as the shooting guard, started the last game at shooting guard, but then previous was coming off the bench, is a 73 overall +1. New Orleans Pelicans get some updates. We've got Jonas Valanciunas going -1 to an 82 overall. Jose Alvarado goes +2 to a 77. +1 for Devontae Graham to a 76. I would have dropped Jackson Hayes down. He's been terrible in the limited minutes he's played all year. He's definitely a trade candidate coming soon. Dyson Daniels goes +1 to a 75 overall. Detroit Pistons, we get a position change for Isaiah Stewart to power forward. He changed in the last update, but he gets the position update here. Sadiq Bey gets a -1 to a 79 overall. It's basically him and Stewart are kind of vying for that power forward spot. Marvin Bagley finally gets changed to center. He's been the starting center for the last few games. Gets an update +2 to a 78 overall. +1 for Alec Burks to a 77. And then Corey Joseph gets a +1 to a 73 overall. I don't know what Killian Hayes has to do at this point to get an overall update. He's been shooting it better. Has been consistent over his last 7 games total. At this point, it's like, did they even watch Killian Hayes play? Because certainly if you watched him, he should get like a small boost overall at least. But I don't know what he has to do overall. Like 11 points a game, 6 assists, 40% from the field, 38% from three since the last update alone. That's enough to warrant, an overall change +2 at least, if not +3. Nothing for Isaiah Livers either. I get he's been kind of in the rotation, but he's been playing solid rotation minutes overall. At least boosted him, because my philosophy is rotation guys should all be around the same ratings, and if you have somebody that's overrated, like really high, then they should bump down to be kind of out of the rotation per se. But that's just me. Toronto Raptors, a little curious with this update because OG Anunoby didn't get an increase. He's been playing phenomenal, almost 25 a game over the last 7 games. Didn't see an update there, but we did get an update for Thad Young +1 to a 77. Position change for Delano Banton to shooting guard, point guard. And then Christian Koloko goes +2 to a 73 overall. So nothing major for the Toronto Raptors. Again, a small update. Another team that has a small update, the Houston Rockets. Usman Garuba goes +1 to a 75. And then they bump back up Jabari Smith +1 to a 76 overall. I thought that maybe we'd see something for Porter Jr., Sengun going up, maybe Green going down 1, since he's been averaging less over the last 6 games than he was prior, but no update there. We did get a few updates for the San Antonio Spurs. Keldon Johnson goes -1 to an 83. He's now tied with Devin Vassell within top for the team at 83 overall. We got position changes for Keita Bates-Diop and Doug McDermott. They flip-flop small forward and power forward. No rating changes for either one. Also got the addition of Elise Johnson to the roster, as well as a position change. No rating update for Romeo Langford. He's now a point guard backing up Trey Jones. Phoenix Suns, we get +1 for Devin Booker to a 92 overall. He's been really playing well. Same for DeAndre Ayton, 84 overall +1. Good to see that. Position change for Dario Saric. Damian Lee gets a ratings update +3 to a 76 overall. He's really been playing well. Curiously, I thought Campaign would go up a little bit. He's been playing great since Chris Paul went out. No injury designation for Chris Paul, who's missed 11 straight games. He should have also went down in rating. He's been playing terrible offensively this year, maybe because of the injury, I don't know. Who's been playing great has been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Finally gets to change the point guard as his position. Also goes +1 with a bunch of bad changes. I don't know how many, but I'll have to double check. But he goes +1 to a 91. Josh Giddey, position change to shooting guard. No rating change for him. Alexa Pokashevsky gets position change to center, +1 for him. So then we've got Kendrick Williams, position change to small forward. Jalen Williams, who's been spot starting at power forward, gets that position change to power forward. No rating change for him either. Minnesota Timberwolves, they did put the injury for Karl-Anthony Towns on here. I thought Anthony Edwards would get a +1 because he's been playing really well lately. Kind of turned it around from his slow start at the beginning of the year. Rudy Gobert goes -1 to an 85. He's been struggling compared to where he was last year. -1 for Kyle Anderson. Not effective either. Not bad, but just not overly effective to be the previous 78 overall. This is where I have controversy with the roster update. No update for Jeremy Grant. What does Jeremy Grant have to average for them to update him? No badges, no attributes were updated. I don't get it. He's been the leader of the team. Basically, 26 over the last 6 games, 22 points on the season he's averaging, and he's an 82. You could at least boosted him to an 84. Anthony Simons finally does get an update. He goes +4 in this update. Anybody that was curious about his stamina getting updated, he finally gets updated to a 92 stamina. Was a 79 stamina literally for 2.5 years. So they finally updated him. We get an update to Trendon Watford +2. He's been playing really well as the backup power forward. We also see a -1 for Justice Winslow. I don't get that one. He's been doing really well as kind of like the point forward off the bench. I mean, with Jeremy Grant having the career year, I don't know what he has to do at this point for 2K to update him. I don't know what they're looking at, to be honest. Another curious update, the Golden State Warriors. So the entire time Klay Thompson was playing terrible, we got no update. But let's see over the last week for him to play well, and he gets a boost to +1 to an 84. We see, looking at him, he gets no updates at all to his defensive ratings. Draymond Green goes +1, despite being less of a defender for the year. Jordan Poole gets nothing. He doesn't go down at all. And he's been playing terrible since, compared to last season. He should have at least went down 1. I would have had Green. If you're gonna update Green and Thompson, just keep them at 83. They shouldn't have went up. Kevon Looney doesn't go up. Yeah, Klay Thompson. I mean, different positions, so I can't really look at, overall like Klay Thompson versus Jeremy Grant. But yeah, Jeremy Grant, like Draymond Green's an 84 and Jeremy Grant's an 82. That should definitely be flip-flopped. I would have Klay Thompson at 82. Like, I don't get it. Like, Kevon Looney should be pushed up to a 76, at least, if not a 77. You've got Dwayne Dedmon at a 77. You could put Kevon Looney at a 77. Like, he's starting for defending champions, and he does consistently well when he does play. Obviously not a scorer, but he can rebound. James Wiseman goes -2 to a 75, thankfully. I don't know why he got updated in the last update at all. And then we get a position change for DeMichael Green to center. Next gripe I have. No update to drop Johnny Davis, who's literally averaging 2 points a game, shooting the ball terribly. Vernon Carey has been a G League starter for the Capital City Go-Go since last season. Doesn't even play, and he's a 73. No update for Rui Hachimura. Yes, he's been injured, but he started out decently well this season. He could have at least went +1 to a 77. They did update Kyle Kuzma +1, but that's the only change they gave for the Washington Wizards. Kristaps Porzingis has been playing really well, and he couldn't get an update +1. I don't get it. I don't get what does Jeremy Grant have to do? What does Porzingis have to do? And what does Killian Hayes have to do to go up in rating? I don't get it. Like, overall, like, they got a good bit of things right in this update. Like, obviously, Gilgeous-Alexander should have went up. Booker should have went up. Like, there's players that should have went up. Like, Porter Jr. should have went down. Like, Anthony Davis should have went up. Like, those things are correct. But when you get to questionable things like, why is Ivica Zubac not a little bit higher? Why did you not bump up Kristaps Porzingis? Why did you not bump up Killian Hayes? Like, those are the things that make people question where they're getting their stats from for these updates. Like, are you watching things? Are you looking at trends? Are you looking up information that's all readily available on NBA.com? Like, literally, I put together notes to kind of know what to expect for a ratings update, and literally I have Jeremy Grant at an 85 overall, um, based on what his badges should have increased to and his ratings for the season. That would have been good to have him. Even if you put him at 84, I would have been happy with that, higher than an 82, and you didn't even touch him at all. Like, there's no reason for 2 updates in a row Jeremy Grant gets missed. And basically, he's having a career year. I don't get it. Like, let's look at Jeremy Grant for one. Like, looking at his ratings, number one, a reason why they couldn't update him is because his intangible rating is already a 90. That means you have to go through and actually edit his ratings because you can't inflate the 90 overall for the intangibles, which is basically a quick modifier edit. So even if I put him, I had to put him at a 99 for him, a 98, I should say, to get him into an 83. So we know they would change the intangibles to get him there. His strength should go up to a 75, at minimum, at least. He's not rebounding the ball great, and that's probably why he didn't go up, because he only averages like 3 rebounds a game, which is pretty awful considering Josh Hart averages like 8 rebounds a game. His offensive consistency could go to a 90. That would have been good to do there. Shot IQ should go to a 90. So that right there gets him to an 84, and I just changed a few ratings. Then if you add in badge upgrades and badge additional badges, then you could have done 85. But those just small tweaks right there just got Jeremy Grant to an 84. Easily. Without having to do much effort. At all, out of my part. I didn't use stats. I just went off his scoring is up. Basically, and then his intangibles rating. And that was it. It's not difficult overall to discern that Jeremy Grant should have got an update. That one just baffled me all the way around. I expect Killian Hayes, because you'd have to watch the Pistons and all that stuff. But Jeremy Grant's been all over the headlines for the Blazers. And they upped Anthony Simons, who's been playing just as well. So I don't get it, but that's, that it is what it is. But that's the update for today. The official roster update. You will see once we get through the next few weeks, whether, because the next update would come on December 15th. So we'll see what happens with them. I don't know. I don't know how you don't drop the Mavericks down some editing. You don't give love to the Washington Wizards and get their guys kind of a little bit better in line. But it is what it is. We can sit there and discuss ratings all day long, but go over to Operation Sports if you want to look at the written changes. If you missed anything in the video, you can go back through. I apologize for the first few minutes, minute and a half, that there wasn't any sound. But hopefully you guys got something out of this video. Please hit that like button if you're still watching. Please, please, please hit that like button. It's really important. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Every time there's a major update for 2K, whether it's player likenesses or a ratings update, I'm here going through all the changes. Look on Operation Sports on the forum that I created. You can see the changes, but then usually the Real 2K Insider will add in below the badge changes because he has that document readily available that he can look at who changed pretty quickly. So make sure you check that post out on Operation Sports. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I don't expect an update tomorrow. Possibly could be one, but I don't expect one because they did get the change for Matt Ryan being waived from the LA Lakers in there, and then that was basically it. Den's Bars, there's no face updates. They only do those usually during patch time, which who knows when the next patch will come out. Probably at the end of December, early January. Who knows at this point what'll even be updated. But, it is what it is. But hope everybody enjoyed the video. Like I said, please like, subscribe. Hope everybody has a great rest of your week. And I'm going to try to get a video up by Sunday doing another sim on the MyNBA, area. Basically doing the 2022-2023 season, simming that, seeing what the stats look like, things like that. Because there was a tendency update. You can go through my YouTube channel, watch that just to see tendency explanations and things like that. But teams did change tendency-wise based on this season. Not an overwhelming amount of them, but some of them did change. So check that out if you're interested. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I will talk to you next time.